Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Homosexual activist and serial bully Dan Savage says that the Family Research Council, quote, wants gay teens dead. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action, and joining me today in studio is Shawn Akers, Liberty Counsel's Vice President of Middle Eastern Affairs. Shawn, this is unbelievable. We've become accustomed to Dan Savage. I don't know if he's not getting enough attention with his MTV show that it encourages young children to engage in all form of sexual perversion. But every time he takes the stage, it seems that he tries to outdo himself. And with just radical, outrageous statements, his latest, he said while giving a speech that every dead gay kid is a victory for the Family Research Council, and certainly by extension would be a victory for Liberty Counsel and other Christian organizations who stand firm on the reality that homosexual behavior is sin. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but in light of what happened recently at the Family Research Council, you have to wonder what his motive is for this. Is he sending a signal to the next Floyd Corkins? That, of course, was the homosexual activist who went in and shot up the place and shot a heroic manager there who disarmed Floyd Corkins, shot him in the shoulder, could have killed any number of people there, could have been a bloodbath. I have to wonder if Dan Savage isn't sending a signal to the next Floyd Corkins to go in and try again.
Matt, how it will be taken in the public, I don't know. But come on, this guy is terribly irresponsible, and that's what it boils down to. Is you see a level of immaturity here. Anybody that would go that far and make a hyperbolic statement like that, you can't think that they even believe what they've said. That is so overboard, so outside the pale, and they don't care. They don't care about the children that have passed away that they're referring to. They're not showing any regard at all for them. They're not giving any proper respect or credibility to people who might disagree with them. What it shows is that they're literally willing to walk on the graves of dead children to bring a character assault against a Christian organization. Savage is the one who's guilty of the very thing that he's saying here. And I don't see it getting any better, Matt, because these folks are given largely a pass in the media. Anybody that's attempting to protect life or speak out on behalf of morality steps out of line just a half inch, or even could be misconstrued half an inch, and they're attacked viscerally. Someone like Savage can go off the deep end and say things that are that socially irresponsible, could even be, as you point out, criminally irresponsible. And there's no repercussions for it. He just goes on. Hopefully for him, his ratings go up a little bit. He gets to make a purely hyperbolic ad hominem attack, and he's done absolutely nothing to better anything. No,
and he's not held accountable either. You'll recall a few months ago, he was speaking at a high school event and just launched into a profanity-riddled rampage against the Bible and against Christians, and personally attacked a number of the Christian students that were in the audience. When they got up and started to walk out very quietly and peacefully, he started berating them and cussing them out. This is a guy that runs a website and a campaign called the It Gets Better campaign that seeks to encourage kids to stay in the homosexual lifestyle, keep engaging in the behaviors and engage the sexual confusion that they're undergoing, and tell them that somehow it gets better. This is supposed to be an anti-bullying campaign, yet Dan Savage has proven himself over and again to be, one of the biggest bullies amongst us. According to the Huffington Post, he said this was at Winona State University. He was giving a speech, And he said this: every dead gay kid is a victory for the Family Research Council, and that Tony Perkins, quote, sits on a pile of dead gay kids every day when he goes to work, and he calls himself a Christian. How offensive, how just ugly, rotten, not to mention wholly untrue. I know Tony Perkins personally. You do too. He is a devout Christian that loves every kid who's caught up in the homosexual lifestyle. And like you and I and other Christians do, want them to see their sexual reality come in line with this sexual confusion that they're undergoing, not trying to force it, but to speak truth in love. But people like Dan Savage and the left have to silence that truth. They can't allow that truth to get out there. So they use this kind of hyperbolic attack in order to try to silence their critics.
There's more than one irony at play here, Matt. I know this was at a different level of graduation, but still, I think the irony stands that if a Christian valedictorian at any high school in the nation, any public high school in the nation, dares mention the name Jesus, all the powers that be fall on them immediately. Threats of litigation from the ACLU and
That's right.
and threats from the high schools. And it's just a terrible thing that we deal with every year. But yet, this ridiculous man can go to a graduation ceremony and make a statement like that and alienate the people in the audience. And he will probably be applauded by much of the far left. And that's unfortunately where we've gotten as a nation.
Well, he went on to say that essentially when it comes to people like not just Tony Perkins, but Michelle Bachmann and other conservatives who take a biblical position on homosexuality and same-sex marriage, he says that they are responsible for killing these children, and their lack of affirmation of homosexuality is somehow responsible for taking their lives, essentially.
Now, Matt, and I don't want to go off into hyperbole myself, but at the same time, you have to look for historical parallels here, and it's when you see the rhetoric rise to that level, where you've got a man accusing someone like Tony Perkins of the most vile crimes known to man, it really does, it brings you back to other societies that have done the same things to justify hatred of entire groups of people. I mean, the one that obviously comes to mind always is Hitler's programmatic desensitization of the German people toward their Jewish population by accusing them of incredibly untrue,
right,
but
incredibly
horrible acts. And you're seeing this right now. It appears to be hyperbole. It appears that that this is much more about Dan Savage than it is the subject matter he's speaking about. That he's a maniacal narcissist who can't get away from his own headlines
and is off the rails.
Yeah, right. But still, think about this. If it's becoming allowable and acceptable speech to accuse people who disagree with you on these fundamental questions of being murderers, then we're at a dangerous place.
And going back to what we were talking about earlier, it's that kind of irresponsible speech that I think prompts somebody like a Floyd Corkins. It gives them, as Tony Perkins said, a license to go in and shoot up the Family Research Council. It puts Christians in harm's way. And it's just a lie. He said this, quote, Tony Perkins tells parents who love kids, whose kids come out to reject them. That's just a bald-faced lie.
Ridiculous lie.
Tony Perkins tells the parents of queer kids to do what Tony Perkins blank well knows drives those kids to suicide, doubles their already quadruple risk of suicide. A flat-out, blatant lie supported in no way by any study, any science, or even common sense.
No, but I'll tell you, it does create a real opportunity. If you'd like to test that theory, why don't you go to FRC's webpage? Tony does a radio show. Tony puts out a variety of information. He speaks for himself very eloquently. If you'd like to see what he actually says, go listen to it. Go and see what he says. See if this man, if there's a grain of truth in what he says, or rather, has he unreasonably maligned a good man.
Well, folks, this is what we're up against. This is what Christians are facing right now from the radical homosexual activist lobby. These kind of just hateful lies and attacks, but we're not going to let them go without talking about them, without informing you about them and educating you about the truth. Liberty Counsel stands firm, yes, for biblical truth, but that's truth in love, and we share that truth with people struggling with all kinds of sins, to include homosexuality. To learn more about Liberty Counsel, go to lc.org, become part of our ministry today, or give us a call, 1-800-671-1776. Stand with us as we stand with the natural family.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.